Hello everybody, my name is Jpdminecart and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do your own GFXs uh, for yourself. The first thing I want to go ahead and clarify is if you're going to suggest any suggestions and you're planning on suggesting them in a rude way, don't even think about it. I do not want to hear any suggestions on how I do this and why I do it the way I do it. It makes sense on how I do it and stuff like that. So yes, please do not. Alright, so the first thing you are going to need, we're going to need for this, and if my M325 mouse is going to work for this laptop I'm using, because I do my recording done on one computer and I do my gameplay on another computer, because that's just how I've done it. We are not responding, so great. I'm gonna have to do this with the mouse pad. Okay, the first thing we're going to need, if I can find my mouse, whose screens is not as great as it looks. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, fair enough. So the first thing, like I said, and I keep trying to, but keeps not going over, we're gonna need Roblox Studio. Now, if you've launched Roblox Player on your Windows 10, 32-bit, 64-bit, or your cousin of Linux, which is aka Apple, which is Mac product. I don't know if Mac products ping this, but if you've done it with Windows, if you've used the actual launcher, not 10 application or anything like that from the 10 store, you should have Studios. Now, if your screensaver does not have Studios because you removed it, if you go to your start menu, which I'm going to try to preview without sharing anything real life or anything, but if we go into our R's here, it should be a Roblox file right here, and there's Studios. So if you've had Studios, you've never launched it before, go ahead and launch that and let that install. Alright, now that is done. The next thing we are going to need is Blender. Now, before you go ahead and search in Google Blender, realize I'm going to tell you guys this now. We are not going to use the current version of Blender out there just because, well, I don't know how to use the current version of Blender. So the version we're going to be using is 2.79. I know my face cam is covering it up, so let me show you quickly. You can see on my screen right now, 2.79. So when you get to this screen, you're going to have a download latest Blender, download Blender 2.79 be old. When you click on this, and it does say it's not recommended, but we're going to be using this version because this is the version I'm familiar with. You're going to have a little page that looks like this. It's an index page of all the files. Now, if you're my Windows users out there and you're not for sure on what type of operating system you are, so you're not for sure if you're a well, I got to fully say if you're not for sure if you're 64-bit or 32-bit, we're gonna go into our settings here. I am gonna have to hide some crap because real name and stuff. So okay, so you're gonna get a page like this. All right, now where it shows system, you're gonna click on system. Okay, and then when you get to system, you're gonna get a page like this. So you have a page like this. You want to find the about tab, and in the about tab you'll find all your specs and stuff here, which my face cam is covering up. So what you want to locate system type. As you can see here, I have a 64-bit. Okay, now for my old Windows users out there, my 8 or 7 or Vista, if there's any of you Vista people out there, in order to find your abilities or what you're looking for, you want to go into your W's. So look for Windows System or type in Control Panel, which is right here. When you pull up Control Panel, in which this is come up on my screen, I gotta transfer it over. So give me a sec. Let me set to what it will look like if you've never opened up Control Panel before. Anyway, this is what it looks like if you have never opened this up before. What the first thing we want to do is we want to change view by. You can choose whichever you prefer. I prefer the large icons. I know it doesn't make it look perfect here, but I prefer the large icons, okay? Now, when you get it set to like that, you want to locate system. Now, you don't have to do this. You can automatically click it, but first 10 users, when you click it, it's going to force you over to the 10s because they're trying to get you to use all 10 stuff. It's stupid. quite annoying. I hate it, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But if you're a 10 user and you like doing things OG style way, you have to right click and press open. But anyway, once you get to there, you should have a page that looks like this. Like I said, it's going to say things. So you right here, system type 64-bit operating system. That's how you find that. Now, if you're a 64-bit operating system, it does not matter which installation you do, either if you do the 32 or 64, but if you want to do a 64, because your system is a 64, I recommend it. So once you figured out it's a 64-bit, there are two types of 64s. There is an MSI and a zip. A zip file, basically, it means you're downloading the zip file, you're going to unzip it, and you'll launch it in the file. You want to do an actual install of Blender, so you want to do the MSI. Once you do the MSI, it's just pretty much .exe installment. From there, you just run through the whole process, and it's been installed. So that is how that works. I am going to leave a link in the description below of the index page, so that way it's all there for you. So if you're Linux, which there's Linux, there's Mac, all the Windows types, just want to be sure you do the B. It's either the B. There's a few types in here. I'm not sure what's the difference in them, but whatever works. Whatever is going to be on the same page with that. So once you got that downloaded, we're going to have to do some more things to get to add on to Studios, which I will link in the description below. Unfortunately, my Studios has an update, which is nice. But once that is updated, which shouldn't take too long, my internet can be iffy. It can have its ups and it can have its downs. Either way, once this gets done, which most likely might not, we will go through the next steps on what we need to do. And for some reason, one of my boxes is acting up. I think it's the capture box that's acting up, so it keeps flickering on you guys. I apologize. Anyway, yeah. Can I move this download? I wish I could move it over so you guys could see it where I'm actually launching it, but I'm not, because it's on the main screen, screen 1, which is the laptop screen. You don't see, you see screen 2, because I just prefer to have everything set on screen 2, just in case if something does happen, it happens on screen 1 and not screen 2, just to really prevent anything from happening in a recording session. I mean, sound-wise, but that's different. So anyway, yeah, I'll get you guys when this is officially finished out updating, and we will continue on. Okay, so it is finally finished updating. It's now officially launching the program. Now, if you've never run Studios before, you will have to log in, and you will have to log in with your Roblox account. And if you have the two-step verification, obviously you will have to do the two-step verification. Alright, so the next step, and it doesn't right now at this time matter which template we select, because really we just need to get in to the actual Studios to do some things. So I'm just going to do the classic base plate, which we are going to need in the future. So yeah, once you load up the classic base plate, it's going to load up the base plate. We want to go into plugins. Now, there are two plugins we are going to need to install. If you've never heard plugins before, plugins are basically little features and stuff that can help you. They can be useful tools and stuff if you're really into the developer stage and stuff. But for you guys, you're just here to load in your character and stuff like that. So the first plugin we are going to focus on, there are two plugins actually, but if you notice that I have two plugins that say load characters, one plugin we definitely want to focus on, and I will explain why we are not focusing on the other. So the first plugin we need to install is called Already Pro's Load Character plugin. So where you find that is you would click on Manage Plugins. Of course, this tab just happens to come on my other screen. So you come right here, and apparently a lot of my plugins need to be updated. I don't use this Studios as much because this is my laptop. I don't use much for Studios, but either way, you would click on this plus, and again, it's going to do another thing, which it won't happen for you guys, but it does for me, because for some reason I have my toolbox separate. So you have a toolbox separate like this, okay? So like I said, you want to find one that says load character. Make sure it's by Already Pro, and I am going to try to link this in the description below. Once you install that character or that plugin, if it doesn't show, restart your Studios, okay? If it does it, that's why I said it doesn't matter what base plate. But for inserting a character, it will matter the base plate. But anyway, that right now is our first plugin we're going to concentrate on. The second plugin we're going to concentrate on, and this is if you're interested on animating your character in a pose, a position, or anything like that. And that plugin is Moon Animations, which I'm going to go ahead and update that now. That way it's out of the way and it's up to date, that it will work. Which I may have to reinstall my, or restart my studios. Yep, I do, because it says restart studios right there. So, of course, this one you need, this one is by X6X, which again, I'm going to link in the description below. So let me quickly restart studios, and we will get into how this all works. So yeah, let's quickly close out studios. It's gonna ask me to say this, no, and I'm actually recommending you guys to shut it down, restart studios, because we're gonna get straight into the tutorial on how this works. So once you restart studios, which it now came up on this screen, I'm gonna come up with this screen because I've done stuff. We want to do the classic base plate, which is right behind me, right there. So once we do the classic base plate, once you get both of those plugins in, you should have two. I have more because I do more besides this. I do other things studios related. We're going to click on the load character. The first thing we want to set, we want to turn on spawn origin. Now let me tell you why we don't use Moon Animations character installer. As much as it's great, I love it. It has, 10 slots and it shows all slots I have and it allows me to use user IDs. The downside about this one is it does not have a setting mode to spawn a character in the origin. Now, why? Why is this important? Well, for instance, I'm just going to go ahead and spawn myself here. And say I am right there. Alright? Now, we're going to use this guy because he's already in the system. So, the middle of the map is right there. Now, why do we have to have stuff in the middle? Well, when we transfer stuff over the Blender, if I were to exploit this as an OBJ or whatever the file 3D is, your character won't spawn in the middle, and it can be it most likely could be offside Blender's layer, or whatever the origin is, or wherever the map layer is. And with that, that can be a struggle, especially when you're wanting to render a character. So I suggest using load character and have it spawn in the origin. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. So now that I explained it, and I will get more detail explaining it once we get into this. So once you you got this character up, you want to go ahead and take the man himself that made the character, or the plugin, out, and type in the name you want. For obviously, we're going to use me, for example. So you have to, I'm going to type in my name. Now, I prefer to do R15. It really doesn't matter if you're not going to do anything animation related, but if you're going to do stuff animation related, I would suggest R15 because it can get really more into the arm movement, the leg movement, anything like that, alright? So, here we go. Here is me. So, as you can see, I'm in the air right now. So, you want to click on home, which is right above me. Make sure collage is up. And now, this doesn't work for all type of avatars. It's like the 2.0 or the basic. It doesn't work for the basic. I don't understand why it doesn't work for the basic, but either way, now this is me using a mouse pad, which really sucks. I wish this mouse was working, but as you can see, it is not. I'm gonna try to unplug the unifier and plug it back in, but it's not responding. I don't know what's going on with this mouse, unless, hang on. It does have its own unifier, but with Logitech stuff, for some reason, it's supposed to work even when it's without its own unifier. So let me stick that unifier in. Yeah, it's not working, so. Oh, because it just came up. It's supposed to, I give up with it. It's not going to work. So my TV's acting up, so at least it ain't. So with that, you want to zoom it. You want to bring it down. So as you see, we brought it down. It is on the map. Now, like I said, if you want to get to animation wise, what you want to do is you go in the Moon, you will click on this one. It's going to kind of look like Adobe Photoshop related or Adobe related if you're an Adobe user. Click on New. Give it whatever name you want. For me, I am just going to do the cat smile face. Create. press this plus icon and then click on your character, press OK. Now, you have the option to do something that's already pre-made, like a pre-made emote, pre-made animation pack for your character, or you can do something custom. Now, to save the time, because I've done a lot of explaining, if you want to do something pre-made, click on the import to rig, and then click on present, and make sure you're set to R15. Then this gives you the option to choose between emotes or packs, like the walk packs, the idle pack, the whatever this pack is, the jump pack, since I don't have a mouse pad or a mouse to zoom, the fall pack, the run pack, the swim pack, and the actual emotes pack. We're going to do the idle pack just because I like to render my stuff in idle mode, just because I just prefer idle. So we're going to choose what suits me, or shall we make this interesting? There's ninja, stylish. Sure. So we're gonna click on stylish, okay? Then make sure I'm selected, then press OK. Now, we're gonna click here. Now, we're gonna click on this again, and we're gonna do Control H. What this does is it hides that. So as you can see, the character is now in the play. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, I got my character in a position I like it, I've loaded it in, I'm ready to explain it, right? Wrong. You are not ready yet, and let me explain why. And some people think this is not a great or a stupid idea, but even if you're not the best with file management, which I am not, but some things are worth file managing. So we're gonna go into my documents here. So I have a documents file right here, and it's called Blender. Now on my main PC, it's called Roblox Blender. In this file, it's basically a file which is hidden, and I pre-did one because I had this lots of time ago, and it says JPD point. Today I am going to put in a new file, and it's going to be called JPD style, or JPD, we're just going to do JPD STY, whatever works as long as you know what it is. So once we made that file, as you can see, it's been made. Alright, now in this folder I put two folders. I put one, which I'm going to do now, that's called parts, and then one that is called render picture. Basically one that's for the picture when we render it, so I'm just going to call it ren PIC. I know I suck at spelling. I actually want to quickly fix that R because that R is going to be bumpy. But yeah, so why do I do this? Well, let's go back in the studios here, okay? We're back in the studios, and now we are ready to render the character, and I will explain why. So we're going to click on my character here. Moon animation came up. As long as the character is still in the position it is, right click on it, and then hit exploit session, and you're going to come up here. So we want to go into documents, Blender, the file we just made, parts, and you can give this OBJ a name. I'm just going to name it JPD because I always do that, and its name. Now, why do we do this? Well, let's open up the parts file here, you see? Alright, let me remove my camera. Now you're thinking it just rendered one thing, right? Well, you can obviously see, wrong. It didn't. What it did was it rendered 3 files, and one of them I'm not for sure about. But the other two, this one right here is an OBJ, and the OBJ is your actual 3D model. And then this is your texture. I like to have this separated just so that way everything is separated, so texture wise and stuff like that. It may not affect Blender, but I find it more safe to do it this way. That is why I have it in separate files, so that way everything is organized when I render. Now that we've done this, we are now done with Roblox Studio. Now we're not going to close it, but if you want to, that is on you. So now we are done with Roblox Studio, and we've obviously installed Blender. Obviously, we're going to launch Blender. So let's see if we can launch Blender. Obviously, it's going to come on screen number 1 and not screen number 2. So let me bring it over. So when we launch Blender, it's going to present us this screen, which is the 2.79, which is a 2017 release. Don't ask me why. This is the only one I know how to run. So I'm just going to click anywhere, and you see this here box. Press on your keyboard key X. Also, I need to continue on. I want to also explain a little minor detail with this program. There is some sign abilities that I would recommend you have a keyboard with another keypad, a numbered keypad. But other than that, you can make do without it, but it's best to have one. So now that we got rid of the, okay, now that I mentioned that, let's get back in here. So we got rid of the box. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to go into shading, where it says sky. It might say S for you, depends on your screen. Change that to transparent. Then we want to go into the little globe here. Click on that. We want to turn on environment and industrial lighting. Then we're going to go back to camera again. And this here is our camera. This is a little camera. So if I have it, this laptop does have another keypad. So if I press 0, it is going to go inside this camera. First things first, we're going to want to change it to this resolution on both sides. Now, this is a big resolution, and it might take time when you're rendering it, but it makes the render quality good. So we want to do 10, and then add 3 more zeros. 10,000. That is what we're going to do. So 10,000, and that is done. Now, the next step is we're going to open this. We're going to leave it like this, because now I'm going to show you one more thing we need to do. But we're going to go ahead and insert our character. So we're going to go into import. We're going to do OBJ. We're going to find our Blender folder. It's not letting me. It just oofed on me for some reason. Let me try that again. Oh, sorry. For some reason, it just oofed and would not let me run in the folder. Let's try that again. Blender. It's not opening Blender for some reason. I have never had this issue before. Oh, there we go. So now I did it. I don't know. Anyway, so now we see Blender. We want the JPD we want the parts. We want the one that says OBJ. And again, a mouse would really come in handy, as you're really going to need the middle mouse button to move your character. So I'm in a bit of a pickle here. So let me see if I have a mouse laying around, because I would love to finish this with a mouse. I don't think I do. Nice. Let me find a mouse and we'll continue on. So yeah, you're gonna need a mouse as well for this project. Okay. After finding a mouse that I believe works the last time I ever used it, I'm gonna try it. I got a red light. That's a good sign. Alright, so your mouse obviously is going to be a good one. So you're gonna need your middle mouse, but now you can see your character's loaded, but where's the texture? Well, you need to turn on 2 more settings, and they are in this little dude right here. You need to turn on texture solid, and you need to turn on this one right here. And as you can see, voila, your character is now here. So this is how you import your character in Blender. Now the next step is to get the camera in the position you like it. So the camera's right here. Right click on it. Click on. Oh, that's lighting. Oh no, that is the first. Hang on. You don't want to mess with the lighting. Never mess with the lighting. Never mess with the lighting. Okay, there we go. So you got your camera now. You want to click and drag it. Okay, then you want to drag it all the way here. Now, another thing you're going to want to focus on when you're doing this is you want to focus on the rotation here. So, where it says 46.7, I believe, change that to 180. And to clarify, it's perfect. Press O. You can see that's perfect. Now we want to move it just back a bit. So really the 2 numbers you'll be focusing on a lot is the 180 here, which you'll be focusing on Z, you'll be focusing on X. Locations, these will come in handy as well, but mainly you would use these, like so for instance, I want to move myself more that way. I can move myself more that way, if I want to move myself more back, which mainly is X and Y. Z will move you up and down. but we're not really focusing on that. So usually I would set this right here to 65, sometimes 70. It really depends, but right now I'm just going to get it to how I want it. So right now it really just one of those things that takes time. You got to get it perfect because you want to be sure your character's inside the box, the orange overlying box. Okay, so that's perfect. Now you want to press F12, or you can click on render, click on render image, and also if you do not have a another keypad, you would click on view, click on camera, and this would automatically take you into your camera. So if you don't have another keypad, you can bypass it, but it's just more clicking for you. But anyway, now so basically you want to view the camera when you render. So click on render, click on render image, which is F12. Alright, so from this stage right here, this could take some time. It depends on the specs of your computer. Like I said, this is an i3 with 500 gigabytes of an SSD, so it may not take too long. But basically right here, you want to wait until that gets to 100%. So you can zoom out, you can watch this render itself. So while we're waiting for this to render, when this is done rendering, we will get on to the final last step. So yeah, let's let this render. Alright, so now it's done rendering. You want to go into image, save a copy, and where we made the Blender folder, the JPST, the render image, you'll name the image here, and I just tend to name it. Make sure it still says PNG. I just tend to name it JPD, and just hit save as image. So basically, this image is a 10,000 by 10,000 resolution, and well, the lighting is perfect, so I'll just click that. So now, when that's done, it's gonna go back to the official render. So now if we go back to our file manager, we go to here, we go into the render picture. As you can see, the pictures right here, I'm gonna put that on extra large, and of course you can't see it. So let me move my camera off again. You can see the preview. There's the preview right there, and I can click on it, and it's gonna preview on my other screen because it always just does. So let me just get the mouse, which this mouse is slower, but it works. So as you can see, right here is the render, or the render of the image, and the quality of it is good. So yeah, that is how you render GFXs and editing them on Roblox in positions a lot easier than doing it on Blender. Some tutorials show you how to do it on Blender, but Blender is kind of one of those complicated things. So Studios really makes it easier for you, especially moon animations. I would definitely recommend that. Don't use Roblox. I prefer moon animations because it's just better, and the quality of taking less time to work with is so much easier and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, that's this tutorial. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you give it a like. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. But also don't forget the notification bell. That way, if you don't miss any of their videos, not a lot like these. But apart from that, I've been your host, Jpdminecart. You've been the on. I will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.